Hello, I'm TheAlliedGamer, and welcome to my first review. So, let's take a couple minutes to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog. He's one of the most popular and commercially successful video game characters of all time, and for good reason. His games are full of high-speed action, ring collecting, enemy bopping, and challenging platforming. How did it all begin? Who created him? Who designed and programmed him? And most importantly, how is he able to top Nintendo and Mario's level of success? Well, there's only one way to find out. And that's by taking a look back at his very first game and seeing how it holds up today. So, let us begin my very first review, Sonic the Hedgehog for the Sega Genesis. During the late 80s and early 90s, Mario was on top of the world. Not a single person was unaware of his influence on the video game industry, an industry he was credited with saving. No one could compete with Nintendo. Nintendo held a staggering 90% of the video game market. Sega wanted to create a game and character that will be able to rival Mario and Nintendo. Naoto Oshima, I hope I'm saying his name right, submitted a blue hedgehog named Mr. Needlemouse to Sega. His name was later changed to Sonic the Hedgehog. Yuji Naka programmed the game while Hirokazu Yasuhira created the different stages. The team hired Masato Nakamura of the Japanese new wave band Dreams Come True to compose the music for the game. After months of programming, the game was finally released on June 23, 1991, and became an instant success. Within weeks, Sega was able to take back the majority of the market share from Nintendo. Sonic the Hedgehog is a 2D platform in which you control Sonic through 6 colorful and challenging zones in order to stop the evil Dr. Eggman, Robotnik, from capturing the woodland creatures, turning them into robotic minions, collecting the 6 Chaos Emeralds, and ruling the world. Sonic controls like most platformers at the time. He could jump on enemies by using his spin attack, and he could roll into enemies by holding down on the D-pad. By collecting one of the thousands of golden rings scattered throughout the level, Sonic will be able to survive an extra hit by an enemy or environmental hazard such as lava or spikes. If you get hit, you will drop all of your rings, but if you're hit again without collecting another ring, you'll die and lose a life. Scattered around the levels are monitors, which grant some aid to Sonic, such as a shield, more rings, or an extra life. To complete the act, simply run past the goalpost and the act will finish. But there is one aspect of gameplay that sets Sonic apart from all other 2D platformers: the physics. When Sonic rolls down a hill, he will realistically gain momentum, and you can use said momentum to gain some serious airtime after reaching the end of a ramp. The levels are designed with the momentum-based physics in mind, so in order to get past some obstacles, you'll need a running start, slopes, and some skill. I find nothing in this game more satisfying than using the momentum I built up to rocket past enemies and obstacles. Each zone in the game contains 3 acts. At the end of each third act, Sonic will face off against one of Dr. Robotnik's many mechanical monstrosities, which are all painfully easy and take no time to beat whatsoever, except for the one at the end of Labyrinth Zone Act 3. More on that later. One major complaint I have with the game is the difficulty. Now, I have no problem with the game being difficult, but if the difficulty constantly fluctuates during the course of the game, then yeah, I might have a problem with it. To accentuate the issue, let's take a look at the different zones in the game. You start off in Green Hill Zone, a fast-paced yet easy level to get you used to the controls of the game. You then travel to Marvel Zone, where there's an insane difficulty spike that will catch many off guard, mainly due to the large amount of lava pits that you replaced obstacles such as bats and spikes. Yes, I finally— No! Ugh. Now I have to climb all the way back up there and try it again. Plus the zone tends to drag on and it becomes very monotonous. Sonic, you piece of shit! Next up is Spring Yard Zone, which is sort of the middle ground in terms of difficulty. You have a lot of speedy sections, but it's balanced out with some nicely done platforming. Personally, I think every zone should have been like Spring Yard in terms of level design. Next up we have easily the worst level in the game, Labyrinth Zone. Oh boy, here we go. This zone takes place almost entirely underwater, which means you aren't going to be moving very fast. In fact, you'll be moving as slowly as the first Hobbit movie. I mean, really, it takes him 45 minutes before he even leaves the Shire when it only took him like 22 pages in the book. It pisses me off. Anyway, I'm getting off track. Your mobility is severely decreased, and unfortunately, unlike Mario, Sonic can't hold his breath forever. Apparently, Sonic can't breathe underwater because the game's programmer, Yuji Naka, mistakenly thought the hedgehogs couldn't swim. So in order to survive, you'll need to collect air bubbles to gain more time underwater. However, it can be incredibly frustrating when you're about to run out of air and you're waiting for some bubbles to appear, only for you to die just as the bubbles appear, a second later, which has happened to me on multiple occasions. Then we reach Act 3, which has the most frustrating boss in the entire game. You have to chase Robotnik up a huge vertical shaft full of obstacles, and it's a huge pain in the ass, because there are about a dozen hazards flying at you at one time and you hardly have any room to maneuver. Thankfully, the next level, Starlight Zone, is immensely more enjoyable thanks to some great level design and challenging, though not cheap, platforming sections. Finally, we arrive at Scrap Brain Zone, the final zone of the game, filled with tons of rotating saw blades, spikes, precariously placed pits that are really tricky to avoid. Personally, I think they just went a little overboard with the amount of death traps, and I get it, it's the last zone of the game, so it should be the most challenging, but you pretty much have to have the reaction time of a god in order to avoid most of these traps. And Act 3 of this zone is pretty much Labyrinth Zone Act 4, but not nearly as difficult. In fact, it's rather short, and you're able to beat it in less than a minute if you know which path to take. After that, you reach the final zone of the game, where you face off against the Fat Man for the last time. It can be challenging, but with practice you'll have it down in no time. Once you land the final blow, the game ends as Sonic returns life and joy to the Oh, yeah. Whoops, I forgot to get the Chaos Emeralds. Let's do that. By collecting 50 rings and jumping into the giant ring at the end of Act 1 or 2, Sonic will take an acid trip and enter the special stage, a psychedelic, rotating maze in which Sonic only has one chance to claim the stage's specific Chaos Emerald. I find the special stages to be very annoying as there are bumpers, speed modifiers, and reverse switches everywhere, and it's very difficult to get Sonic to go in the direction you want him to. After playing this game for almost 14 years, I'm sad to say I've only collected all the Chaos Emeralds a total of 3 times. The true ending you unlock by collecting them all is also not worth it, as all it changes is that there's some extra flowers pop up, and Robotnik doesn't mock you at the end. One aspect of the game that I always gush over is the graphical fidelity. This game looks gorgeous. Even for a game made on the Genesis in '91, colors are vibrant and it helps to bring a nice unique feel to each zone. It's easily one of the best looking games on the Genesis. The music is also very catchy and memorable and fit the stage as well. Overall, Sonic the Hedgehog is a great game and it still holds up today. While personally I do have some problems with the game's difficulty balancing, that's not nearly enough to bring the game down as a whole. The graphics are gorgeous, the music is amazing, there's a lot of speed and platforming. I give this game an 8.5 out of 10. If you are interested in playing this game, there are numerous ports on pretty much every electronic device made during the last 10 years. I recommend the version on Android and iOS that has a smooth 60 frames per second achievements, time attack mode, and a save feature, which really helps when you're going after those Chaos Emeralds. You can even play as Tails or Knuckles, which is a nice feature. It only costs $3, so there's no reason for you to wait if you have yet to experience this classic game. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.